computer recording.
All right, we're starting. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today for Monday Mental Matters. I'm really excited to have you on my show. So let me you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell me what you do.
My name is Melvin Marsh, and I am a medical hypnotherapist.
Nice. So what exactly does that mean?
Well, just like most other hypnotists and hypnotherapists, I can do a whole range of stuff. So it's just smoking, weight loss, etc. But I also do a lot of medical stuff as well because I'm also an EMT. So
Okay.
that additional interest of, oh, let's do pain management. Yeah, but I can do it a completely different way. Let's do pre-surgical because they might actually let me go into the hospital and actually talk to people.
Mm-hmm. And you have certification, correct, in
I
hypnotherapy?
I have a certification in hypnotherapy. I've got several certifications in several of the specialties, ADD, pain, childbirth. I've got a list.
I think one of them was I saw trauma recovery.
Yeah, trauma recovery. We got smoking. It's just a big list.
Nice. So we talked earlier, or we talked over email, and you said the reason you were interested is because we met over Simbi. Do you want to talk a little bit about what kind of social media you have, your website, different things? Give yourself a little plug.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Well, my website is afterhourshypnotherapy.com. So I'm very easy to find right there. I've got blog which I put out about once a week, except for on like
I read it today.
And one went out yesterday, and I already saw that you followed it.
Yep.
So popped up and said, "Oh, new follower. Oh, that looks familiar." On YouTube. I don't do a lot with YouTube. I mostly just save that for like podcast or questions, so I don't have to necessarily repeat things. I mostly use that as educational.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of pictures of me sitting in this office, just going through the list of questions. A question, okay, save. Next question, save. So it helps a little bit.
And then this one will be on your YouTube also.
It'll eventually be up on YouTube. Like I said, I figured I'll just wait until you put it and shrink it down because I know I'm the one recording this. Then I'll send it to you. You'll probably edit or whatever it is you do. You can say, hey, it's up. And I'll be like, hey, great, I'm hacking your copy because it's probably looking cleaner than mine.
I don't know. I'm not very technically savvy, and I'm more of like a what you see is what you get kind of person. So
okay, all right. Like I said, whatever makes you happy. Yeah, I'll put it up on YouTube. I'll also be linking to your podcast. Just send me your link too.
Okay.
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. Which also gets out the various the various blog entries. I'm most places.
Okay.
I was on Google Plus. I'm not sure Google Plus is still going on, given they just said they were going to close it down. So I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw that notification a few weeks ago. I was like, is that for businesses, personal, or everybody?
Yeah, because a lot of businesses use Google. So.
Well, Google Plus, not necessarily like Google Your Business, which is where all the reviews are. Review-wise, I'm on like Yelp, Google, that whole crazy list.
Awesome. All right. So you're on everything then.
I try to be on everything. Therapy. You can either search my name or you can search the practice. I try to be everywhere.
Yeah, I really like your website. So
thank you.
For any of my viewers or listeners or anybody who's taking a minute of their time, go check out his website, afterhourshypnotherapy.com.
Just so you know, the original list of that, the original design for the website actually came off of a person from Simbi.
Oh, really?
Then I just basically that was when I was free, and then when I paid, I basically changed some things, but some of the color scheme and stuff is the same. The menus are the biggest thing that got changed because now I could actually add stuff and.
There's a lot of content that you can check out for sure.
Yeah, that's what I did. Before everything was like drop-down menus, and I was like, it just got too long. Things were running off screens. I was like, okay, we need to reassess the thought here.
Not fun for people who come to your website. All right, so I know we talked about this last Monday, but just for the people who are listening or viewing right now, talk me through how a hypnotherapy session goes.
Well, it depends on whether or not we have a pre-talk. Sometimes I usually do a separate consultation just so I know what is about to come in my way.
Yeah.
I'll do a little consultation just so I can talk to the person, find out what they know, what their goals are, and most importantly, to see if I have to get a medical referral.
Okay.
Because I do a lot of the medical stuff or the therapy, the other types of therapy stuff. If it's something that could lead to you having a diagnosis of something, I need one of your licensed providers to be on board with me.
Okay.
So assuming that, we do that, we do the little pre-talk is me, answering some questions about hypnosis, telling you what it's like to experience, which I don't know why people even say, this is what it's like to experience, because no matter what, it's always individual to the person.
Right.
How I experience things might not be how you experience things.
Mm-hmm.
So I just give a few examples of different things that I've heard, my experience, a friend of mine's experience. She always says she feels cozy. What does that mean? I don't know, but it's good to her. I'm assuming it's a good thing, but
Yeah.
So that's how the consultation will go. When we do the session, generally we will have already done the consultation. Sometimes I do have to take a situation and kind of just do it all at once. Not my preferred way of doing it, but I'll do it anyway. So we go in and put the person on the recliner, which this is not I'm not in a recliner, but where you saw me yesterday was actually sitting in the exact recliner that I put the patients in.
Oh, okay.
Because it's literally the most comfortable thing in this. I have 3 chairs in this room. That's the most comfortable one. Nice. So that's where they go. And that's where I go when I don't have to sit there and necessarily hold a computer steady. So we put that in. It goes right back. Easy enough. They can do whatever they want. And then we start what is called an induction. And it basically starts that trance process. That's the first stage of trance. I've got a few dozen inductions I could do. So whichever is most convenient to whatever the patient needs. Okay. Or I do have, of course, a favorite, but which is usually the one I end up doing because it also works really well with pain and anxiety. That's the preferred way of doing it anyway. If they don't need that, and need something else, I'm happy to jump. Mm-hmm. But I'm also a little selfish because I've got a bad back, and I'm working both of us at the same time.
Oh, there you go.
It's really convenient for me to do pain management. I love it. But after we do the induction, usually there's some form of deepener. Not always, usually. But what is the deepener? It simply deepens that state of trance.
Okay. Yeah.
There are a bunch of ways you can do that. The one I actually do usually has a built-in deepener, so it doesn't have to be really drastic. So sometimes that's even kind of, they're usually about as deep as they can go, but a lot of them expect the deepener. Okay. So I just do it anyway. It's not going to hurt anything. They're usually, half of them are pretty zonked by the time I get done. But during that, after that deepener, we have these actual trance work that I'm doing. Stuff like, possibly guided imagery could be involved. Could be some more direct suggestions. Everything depends on what I've already established needs to be done.
Okay. Yeah.
That's part of that consultation. And I just basically take notes and I start coming up with ideas a little bit after they leave. And then put it in my file to remember to do it next time. So they spend however long they spend in that, depending on how much they're fighting the induction. Usually they don't fight very long. So I'm usually working on them trance work-wise 20 minutes or more. But it all depends.
Okay.
And eventually they have to leave this house anyway. So we have an emergence. And then depending on how they react after that the emergence, which is just me bringing them out of trance. Mm-hmm. And if they come back and if they're one of those people who are superly slow to emerge, that just means I'm going to either not do that deepener or start the emergence even sooner.
Okay. So after you initially work with them, then you kind of know
I have a
How?
better idea.
Okay.
Because not only will they usually go down faster the second time, I also now know how fast they go, you know, if or if they need extra work, or or if they're going to come up and stare at me when they wake up and just give me that glance of, you just woke me up, how dare you?
Right.
I know that look. I give that look to some of my colleagues when they work on me.
So it's a very case by case basis.
It can be a case, but the exact timing is always case by case, at
Okay.
least for me. Maybe not so for other hypnotists, but I try to individualize as much as possible.
That's great.
I think it's the respectful thing to do. You're an individual. I'm an individual. I'm going to try and work with you as best as I can.
I think with any type of therapy that it should be tailored to the individual.
You're absolutely right, Taylor. Right there. This is my one joke for the day, guys. Go for it.
I know I was going to say something, but I left it wide open for you.
That's
so, okay, so I wanted to read through kind of not your whole list, but the lists that were more geared toward mental health services.
Yeah.
And my question was, why do you require referrals? You already told us.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you can talk through which ones you do require a referral for.
Okay, so basically, if I already know you have a diagnosis, you're probably going to be giving me a referral.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're going to come in with post-traumatic stress, please do not make me be the only person here working on you. Right. I don't have a mental health license at this time. I am hopefully going to be going to school to be a clinical psychologist.
Yeah.
If anybody is listening here that's on those committees, come on, check out my application.
Yeah.
So pretty much, if you have a diagnosis, I'm going to be asking for a referral from someone. Ideally, your therapist, but if it's your MD, we can talk about that. That can be a case by case basis too. If you're a paranoid schizophrenic, I'm probably not working with you at all. So, that's.
I saw you had a few like.
There are a few that I'm kind of not. I'm not comfortable with at this time. This might change in the future.
Right.
I had a person that I wasn't even being a therapist to, either hypnotherapist or otherwise, who kind of did a lot of destruction to a friend of mine, and I was helping the friend, so I got to see that firsthand.
Okay.
And paranoid schizophrenic, kind of the same thing. I have a few friends who have that diagnosis. I'm like, I love you, but you're going to be stable on your medications before I even help you with your smoking. Just
right.
And they're like, that's totally fair.
Yeah, and that's important for everyone, I think, is to be stable on their medications.
Absolutely. But those are some of those things. Anxiety is really a touchy one. Sometimes I'll do that with even if they have a diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't generally. It depends on how bad that diagnosis is, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of the time people say I have anxiety. Most people don't actually have an anxiety diagnosis.
Right, like the generalized anxiety disorder.
Yeah, I mean, if you're on anti-anxiety meds, you are giving me some form of referral from somebody. I don't care who it is.
Right.
So, I mean, those are just a few examples of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you're relatively manageable and you just, are having a few bad weeks and don't technically meet that criteria, I'll probably work with you. Depends on individual basis, of course.
Some of the other things that I noticed on your website: anger, confidence, depression, grief, habit reduction, insomnia, motivation, phobias, stress management, and then, of course, the PTSD and trauma recovery.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, about half of those require something. Like if you have a diagnosis of clinical depression, please make sure that, I know that's, there are some people that won't tell you. Mm-hmm. They're like, that's really not a good thing. But if you have a diagnosis of that, I'm probably going to ask for something.
Yeah. So does that work kind of like if, say, I come to you to get hypnotherapy, I'm also maybe going to a psychologist or something. And they need like all the extra notes and things from other places that I've been. Or do you look through that too?
They don't usually send them.
Okay.
I have there are two versions I've seen. I can, some people usually just send a one sentence thing saying, hey, I got a patient, this is the birth year, this is the situation. Usually I've gotten something as little as one sentence. Mm. And I'm like, technically meets a referral. I had one person, if you need to lose more than 20 pounds, popped in saying, the referral actually said psychological referral for weight loss. That's what it said. I was like,
it's very basic.
I was hoping for more information than that, but that's okay. I have a more detailed referral form on my website for the people who have a lot of problems. Like, it's basically a full medical history, and they can just say your surgery's okay. I'm just thinking about one person. One person actually did submit the whole thing, and it said surgery below the knee amputation. Fair enough. They were coming to me for pain management. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Usually,
so multiple diagnoses would be good with the referral form if there's physical and mental health referrals.
Yeah, and I don't think nobody has ever sent me like excessive details about the person outside of, I mean, there's a lot of these are things I can get from the person themselves, but
yeah,
I have to already ask them too.
Right.
Because I am, like I said, I am an EMT, and quite frankly, if you come in for medical stuff, I'm probably going to ask you medical questions.
Yeah.
I'm going to be asking you, hey, so when was the last time you ate? If you're feeling, anxious. Hey, when, how many surgeries I need to know about? Are you on any meds I need to know about?
Yeah.
I have a little boogie board from my time as an EMT when I was on the 911 service. And I just write that stuff down. I make a note of it. And as soon as it goes into a secure, my very secure notes, I can just delete the stuff on the thing. So it's fairly HIPAA compliant, and it's very lovely.
Yeah. So you're looking, I don't know if I'm using the word right, but from everything because you've done medical stuff, but more of a holistic approach where you kind of learn everything. Mm-hmm.
I try for that. It's sometimes a little challenging, but I can't obviously do all the prescriptions.
Yeah.
I'm the other side of that, and some holistic can be a good word, but you have to remember that sometimes holistic isn't necessarily the correct word. Not necessarily that you're using it correct. You seem to be using it fairly correctly.
Hope.
But you have to understand that there's people that are doing the herbs and all that other stuff, and they're just using that term. Like, everyone considers hypnotherapy to be under the guise of alternative medicine. It is not. It is peer reviewed.
Nice.
It is peer reviewed. It is used by some doctors, not all of them. So I'm not sure we should be falling into the alternative medicine, which is, I'm not acupuncture, which has some possible events. I don't know, but.
And I had no idea it was peer reviewed, so that's something I learned today, and that's really exciting.
If you look on the website, there's this the blog. Go into the there are sections of categories. Find benefits of hypnosis.
Okay, yeah.
Almost every article on there has at least one peer-reviewed site in it.
Awesome.
So that's my
look at those. Yeah.
And
what I read today from your that's the first blog I read all the way through because I was trying to hurry with my research.
You read 70 something articles. Is that what you're telling me?
No. No.
I was like, man, you need more. You have some time on your hands. I haven't.
No, I don't have that much time. Some people may think I do, but no. I just read the one today, and it was very well written. So.
When that popped up yesterday.
Yeah. I think the reason I keep saying today is because I didn't check my email yesterday because it's the weekend, so I was like.
But today, yeah. Yesterday was a very interesting situation about a few. I think it was last Tuesday or something. I ended up with a weird text message, and I was like, I'm kind of concerned here. So that's that actually directly. Normally I write a whole bunch of blogs and I like just schedule them in advance. And I was like, this needs to go up sooner rather than later.
Really, it does. And what you said was so valid for everything, really, just making sure that you know the qualifications of the people you're working with.
Absolutely. If you go back even further, I've got an even more detailed blog post in the ethics section about a bunch of questions that you should be asking yourself, or the therapist. I think the blog title was like choosing hypnotherapist or something like that.
I like it.
It was a very long one, and that got inspired by a kind of sketchy hypnotherapist I met. So I was like, congratulations, you've now inspired a 1,000-word blog post.
There you go.
Yeah,
that therapist is worth 1,000 words.
that error was worth 1,000 words. I lost a lot of friends off that blog post, so you might want to go and read it and see why, and then maybe you can tell me what I did wrong.
I don't, honestly, if you're writing from, your own experience and from your own certifications and things like that, I don't see how you could have been doing anything wrong. But
I upset a lot of hypnotherapists because I said stuff like, check where they're certified from. It's like, ask how many hours they had under supervised experience or not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I told you this, but my degree is in human resources. So I completely understand that. And anyone who's going to be working for anybody is going to ask you how much experience you have. So
surprisingly, very few people have actually asked. But then again, you can tell on my website that it's there. I have links. So it's like, you want to see my academic CV, it's there too. I mean,
very well documented.
Thank you. It's documented. I don't have to do that much documentation. I'm kind of just doing it on my own. It's like, oh, time to update the CV.
Yep. That's great.
So
that's awesome.
That's me.
So, oh yeah.
Sorry. I'm sitting here doing this.
You're in Georgia. I'm in Indiana, but I think we're about the same. I mean, it's a little warmer up here, which is crazy. So
for those who do not know where I am and have not looked me up, I'm in Augusta, Georgia. It was 41 degrees this morning. Just so yeah.
I can't even tell you what it was here, but it was 60 here when I just checked. So
I hate
Melvin
you.
is not very happy with me about that.
Whenever we're done, I'm going to be thinking myself warm to hopefully get the feeling back in my fingers.
There you go. Put your fleece back on.
I'm going to go put my flannel back on potentially.
Yes, there you go. So you're in Augusta, Georgia. That's another thing I wanted to bring up when we were talking earlier, but I almost forgot. It's
a good thing I'm freezing.
Yeah, it's a good thing because then we wouldn't have this very important information that we need.
Okay.
So you do house calls and you work in your office and you also do virtual sessions.
I do virtual stuff. Basically when I'm in Augusta, I'm easily able to hook up the computer and I'll do virtual sessions. It's kind of nice. Augusta is not a huge place.
Okay.
So, all people do show up at the office here.
Mm-hmm.
It's also smart for me to do other things. I do house calls throughout the state of Georgia, if they don't want to do virtual, because I can't quite frankly afford offices in all the different locations I'm in.
Right.
That gets expensive very, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even if you're just doing the rent a room type things in the offices, so that's like $15 an hour. Yeah, I'd have to bring in a recliner and a chair for me. That isn't necessarily the best idea.
Yeah, that's a lot of extra work, it seems like. So
yeah, so I keep 2 offices. One's in Augusta, that's the main one, because I also live here, so it's really convenient I'm one person. I have a very significant sized residence. Part of it is basically just dedicated to business stuff.
Okay.
And eventually I've got a 500 square foot thing in the back, which is going to be eventually going to be the separate office. So then you don't even have to come in here.
Awesome.
So I've got enough space. Then this will turn into yet another office of something else, most likely. Maybe my husband's office.
There you go.
I also see people up in Blairsville, but that's kind of rare because, quite frankly, it's fairly conservative. Not that Augusta, Georgia isn't, but you know, I have my grandmother lives up there, so it's like, so it's not like I don't have a place to be.
Yeah. And you can get a visit in
Yeah,
while you're up
exactly. You can get a
there.
visit in. You can get a visit in if they want to come to her place. That's fine. If they want to do virtual, that's also fine. If they want me to show up in whatever mountain they are, provided I don't have to drive through a river, which I had to do one time. Not a joke. I'm fine. I'll go.
Yeah. So there needs to be a bridge over the river, is what you're saying.
Yeah, one time there was a detour through a state park, and there was a road. I drove through the road. Okay, so the road continued, and it dawned on me that the puddles that was coming up, because it had rained, was higher than it would normally be, and I'm like, crap. But yes, that was a few years ago. And I was like, that was not one of my more intelligent moves. But I didn't have a choice. There was a breakdown on a 2-lane road on a mountain, so I had to turn around and find another way. So yes, you have to have a bridge to get to me. Make sure there's no one. I'm willing to work with unpaved roads, but please no driving through another river. That freaked me out badly.
Yeah, I'm sure that's scary for sure. You hear a lot of stories about high water and stuff. So.
Well, I also have a teeny tiny little car, so. So I actually saw pickup trucks driving through this thing like nothing, and I'm like, shut up. Can I get over this thing? Oh, good. Boing.
Okay, so my next question, I guess, really is there ever a time when hypnotherapy, because, I mean, there's times when people need to get a referral to come to you, but is there a time where you ever give referrals to other people?
I've done a few of them. I don't do very many of them because usually it's the other way. Yeah. But there was one person who came to me with something that was very unusual. She would have made an excellent case study because I'm always looking for weird things to do. Right. I'm willing to even work on you for free if I might, if it's something really, really unusual. And I had to give one referral to another therapist who person had other issues. I got a referral from her doctor, her MD, got the stuff, and she was like, okay, I don't think this is going to work out. I said, nor do I think it's going to work out here, but let me find a therapist for you. Found the referral, made a copy of the referral she'd sent me so that the other person would have it. So that ended up happening. And
that's nice that you both felt mutually that it wasn't going to work out, and that she spoke up too.
No, yeah. Well, it didn't have anything that I had. That it wasn't me.
Yeah.
It was the fact that the problem she was coming with. So I have 2 dogs. I tell my people, like, there are dogs on this property.
Right.
It wasn't she didn't have a fear of dogs, but she had a breathing problem. I cleaned everything for her, and that's what she wanted to do. I said, I can do this virtually too, but she didn't want to do virtual, and she kept asking me to do a house call. I'm like, I cannot do a house call that close.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not only doing, if I'm doing a house call for you, it's going to be more than 1 hour, just realistically. Because I take a lot of, I'm putting mileage on the car and everything else. And
and you have to account for all of that.
I have to account for all of that. It's a royal pain. And based on where she lived, me getting out there and back would have made me late to my next client. I was like, you're going to have to go virtual. And I'm okay with that. But she was not. So that's fair.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So awesome. So you did have something like that happen.
I do hope she's doing well, though.
Yeah.
I never got an update, and the case was super unusual. I'm like, I really want to know how this works.
Yeah, you should follow up if you can. I don't know if that's a
It would
thing
be
you
a little
can.
bit unusual, but I'm certainly curious.
Yeah. So what are some common misconceptions about hypnosis that people have?
Well, here was a question that actually popped up on Kiora, which is a site I sometimes pop into just to see because I keep
Oh
getting
yeah.
requests.
Mhm.
And sometimes a really sometimes good questions will make it onto my blog. So one of them was always about the thing about the pocket watch.
Oh yeah.
FYI, I do own a pocket watch. I do swear I own one. Bought a little Star Trek pocket watch off whatever it was, just so because I was a hypnotist and and everyone made fun of the fact I didn't have a pocket watch. It's currently up there somewhere. I have it somewhere on the I'm not sure if you can see that, but I've got some stuff up there.
Oh, nice. Oh,
So
useful.
I got some stuff up there, and over there is the pocket watch somewhere. Sorry about that. If nobody could see it. Could you even see that? There's a whole bunch of weird stuff hanging up there.
I was just astounded by your bookshelf.
Oh, that's only one of them. I've got about 5,000 books.
Ah.
I've got three bookshelves. I've got 3 bookshelves just in this room. Psychology is full. Most of medicine is full. That's the one you saw. And I've got other one that I'm moving more stuff to as more boxes come back down from Blairsville. But on where I was trying to point, I have little medicine bags, a flute for the post-traumatic stress people, and I've got the pocket watch that's hanging on the wall. So
Nice.
now I don't need a pocket watch. I have never had to use that thing for anything. I'm not going to go over and go, you are getting sleepy. First of all, I'm not going to wave anything in front of your face. For a variety of reasons.
Nervous.
What was that?
I would be nervous if you got up in my face.
Well, some people really want that. I'm like, dude, I don't do that. I'm also very, very careful about swinging things in front of my face because I'm epileptic. That could end really bad for me. So no matter what, there's going to be nothing swinging or anything. The only thing that's going to be moving in this office, with the exception of me, you, and the fan, those are the only three things that are going to be moving in the office. Potentially a dog. That's it. That's it. The thing about the pocket watch probably comes out of something from the movies. I'm not sure which movie it is because it has never been in any movie that I have ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
At least none that related to hypnotists. If anybody can drop me an email or something with wherever this origin comes from, please let me know.
And what's your email?
You can send it to afterhourshypnotherapy@gmail.com. You can find it through the website. You can drop it to me on Facebook. If you come up with any idea, I'm curious because it bugs me. Now, the thing about eye fixation, which is really what they're trying to do, you're wearing out the eyes. Yeah, that comes from a very, very ancient technique that's going back hundreds, if not thousands of years. It's mostly done by this gentleman his last name was Braid. Eye fixation. Basically, he was an eye doctor who realized if his eye patients, actually, I think he may have done other stuff too, but I do know that he was doing a lot of eye work. So staring at one spot for a long enough period, they kind of drifted off. Yeah, so they were going into trance. Yeah, he actually did, I think, a lot of different surgeries, but I do know he also did eye stuff. That was a few hundred years ago. That technique is still used in some circles too. I tend to say, hey, you want to stare at a point in the wall? Go ahead. You've got 10,000 different things, all the tchotchkes around this house and stuff to look at. Like they want to look at the calendar, the diplomas, the fact I've got little weird things that are up on top of the bookshelves, which you're not seeing. I got enough things around here that you can stare at.
Right, there'll be something.
Oh, no, there's stuff all around here. You can stare at that. I'm going to do the induction whether or not you're staring at something or not. And in that way, if you're doing the eye fixation, you're wearing the eyes out. In the end, I'm doing the whatever appropriate induction I found to be necessary. Technically speaking, you're getting 2 inductions, one way or the other. You're going down.
Yeah. Do people close their eyes at all while you're doing induction?
A lot of them do.
Okay.
Not everybody does, and sometimes it gets really really weird if they decide that they're going to stare at me and they don't close their eyes. So now I'm sitting here doing that watching them stare at me for an hour as I'm talking, and that gets really weird.
Yeah.
I have a preference for them to not stare at me because I don't know if they're going to close their eyes or not. But usually most of them do because I never tell them, hey, close your eyes. I don't,
Right.
I never tell them that. It's like, if you want, you can close your eyes. I ain't the boss of you. Which, that's another one.
The
Everyone
client.
thinks they can control them.
Ah.
Are you, what is this? Trying to be like I saw you doing this. I don't know. What was that?
Oh, me?
Oh, you're just being weird. Okay, I see how this is going. Y'all, she's weird. You guys have to watch her every week. I'm sorry. I feel bad for y'all, but
I love one of my friends. She's like a diehard, like Monday Mental Matters. She watches it every week, and she's like super into it. I'm like, thank you so much.
well, that's really good for her to I mean, you to have that support. Friend out there, she's really weird. Just so you know, if you. But
she knows.
Okay, so you know.
I might just be rocking. I don't know.
I don't know what you're doing. I'm just sitting here going, is that my computer or is that her? No, wait, it's her. She's just being weird. But yeah, a lot of people think I'm somehow the boss of them in hypnosis. I'm like, dude, I can't make you do anything that you don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hey, if you want to go cluck like a chicken, that's your own business. Just don't do it around here, especially if you're going to bark like a dog, because then the dogs are going to start barking. I'm going to be upset. And it's going to be like, dude, why did you start that? I didn't ask you to do that. But everyone thinks that I'm like going to control them.
Has that ever happened? Has someone barked like a dog? Just without
Thank God not in this office, but I've also never asked them to do it.
Right.
But a lot of people have asked. Are you going to make me do that? In all fairness, the first time I went to a hypnotist and I said, so as long as you don't make me bark like a dog, I couldn't care what you do. You know. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, that was pretty much it with him. Let's see here. But everyone thinks I'm controlling them. Dude, I don't know what movies y'all watching. Because I can't control anybody. I would love to do that. I have a bunch of student loans I would love to have paid off. Mm-hmm. You know, that's how I would be doing it. But I can't control anybody. Like, if you want to go rob a bank, that's your own business.
Yeah.
But the movies have really warped the view of hypnosis. It used to exclusively be a medical procedure until probably the early 20th century. And then it became this whole entertainment thing, and it's not good.
Yeah, we talked a lot about that. You were talking about how within a last couple hundred years, the eye fixation thing came about. How long has hypnosis been around?
Oh, it's been around for several thousand years. The ancient Greeks and ancient Egyptians were using it. We know we have documentations of at least that. It wasn't called hypnosis because that term didn't exist yet. But they were using this back in other times. If you actually look at all the different cultures in the world, you can see some form of trance or hypnotic experience being in most of them. So who knows how long this has really been going on?
Right.
So, you know, the shamans and the various hunter-gatherer groups, they're doing something. They might not be doing it the same way, but nobody can really deny that that's what they're doing.
Yeah. Try not to move my head too much.
It's okay.
I'm probably okay. So honestly, I don't have a couch or a nice comfy recliner like you do. So I'm just sitting in I
have literally no idea why there's somebody in my waiting room. I have nobody coming.
Maybe they want to get in on our conversation.
I'm very confused. Whoever is in there, if this is you guys trying to do, I don't know if I can actually shut anybody. I'm going to remove that person. If we can't I don't have an appointment. Nobody has an appointment with me at this time. And it's 2:12 right now, so I can guarantee you I do not have an appointment.
Right, we're going till 2:30.
So I normally schedule all my appointments on like even numbers just because I also have wiggle room and time to write up. So I know that there is nobody scheduled at 2 something. Because I blocked you off for 2 hours starting at 1. So literally, I was like, actually, Actually, I might have blocked you off for 3 hours. I don't even know how many hours you got blocked off for, but you got blocked off for a fair amount of time. So I have no idea what that is.
I feel
So
special.
Tiffany, whoever you are that just jumped into my waiting room, I don't know what to tell you.
I'll have to get back with you.
Because that's kind of unusual.
I'm sitting in a lawn chair is what I was getting to. So
sitting in a lawn chair.
Yeah. That's the only furniture I have besides a bed.
Whatever makes you happy.
I also have a yoga ball, which I have sat on during broadcasts, but then you would be like, why are you bouncing up and down?
Weird things have happened. Nothing surprises me anymore.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, you're in the right field for it, right?
This is true. I think mostly that was the EMT stuff talking after working in a hospital in an ER. Things could just go off. Little bombs can go off behind you, and you'll be like, "That's nice. Is it time to clock out yet?"
Oh.
I've had people throw things at me before and not give me any warning, and I just happen to have this weird sense of to duck or to stop, and it went right past me. I was like, I don't know where that came from, but whoever has really good aim, because they just missed me. If I hadn't stopped, it would have hit me. Apparently, that was a very old person with Alzheimer's. We do not know how she got this thing out of her room, over the nurse's station to almost hit me. Don't know how that happened. Nearly scared the people who I was walking with, though.
Probably so. And she has great aim.
She did. I was like, and apparently she was supposed to be like I think she was supposed to be partially blind or something. I said, I don't think so. That's too good.
Yeah. Well, I have like 5 different extra things I wanted to talk about. But
by all means, you can go for as long as you want.
Yeah. Husband will be getting home from work soon, though. So
good excuse.
I would love to talk forever, but you're such a fun person to talk to.
Well, thank you. And this is also because I also made fun of you a little bit.
No, I get made fun of very often. So.
Well, good. At least I'm not the first.
People say I'm weird, and I just take it as a compliment. So
that's a good way of doing it.
I've learned to do that for sure. I mean, maybe in middle school it wasn't such a nice thing, but now that I'm out of college, I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm unique.
That's it. That's exactly it. I was made fun of through all of elementary school, all of middle school.
Yep. So I think one of your blogs possibly talked about hypnotherapy and CBT.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that a little bit.
I'd suggest, CBT can work for some people. Hypnotherapy can work for some people. Sometimes you need to have both because they're targeting different issues.
Okay.
Let me be honest right up front. I'm not a huge fan of CBT because it did not work very well for me. Okay. I did, however, had to have CBT because that was the only thing that guy would do. And I saw a hypnotherapist at the same time. The hypnotherapist worked way better than CBT dude, but working together, I made more progress with them combined than me alone with CBT, because CBT did nothing. But me taking the break, going to the hypnotherapy for a while, by the time I came back to CBT, because he and I took a break, he was like, well, you're not vibrating anymore. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's been some studies that have showed that you really do want to mix a little bit. So, I mean, I would always suggest just asking your if you are going to go the hypnotherapy route, ask your therapist who's doing CBT if that's cool. Some of them are really not cool with that. But in his particular case, he was like, this one's failing with everything. Can't hurt at this point.
Yeah. I mean, like we said, case by case, whatever works for the people. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we might have time, since that was kind of short, for another extra. Mm-hmm. So are you currently doing your mentoring program?
I only do it occasionally. Depends on the individual person. Like the person who that blog post was about,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I think he kind of missed the point of the mentoring program because he wanted far too much, and she wasn't even certified to do anything.
Hmm.
But I do some mentoring depending on where a student is what I do, of course. Like I can just go over and teach you self hypnosis. That's one of the courses I do. I also have
Cool.
another one that I'd prefer you to have more training and not just be a layperson to do. I also will sit there, and if there's a situation where you need your clinical hours and do not have a supervisor, depending on where you're trying to get certified through, I can sign off on them.
Hmm.
So there's that section. I can also provide clients if needed, because I've got a few people that are like, please, if you have anyone that ever needs any work, yeah, it needs to work on somebody. Okay, well, I can make those arrangements. That's not even a problem. And most of them have already been cleared. They're fairly safe.
Mm-hmm.
So I do that. And if somebody is just having issues with the business side of things, I can do that too.
Hmm.
So I've got a few options.
Nice. So,
It's very specific, and
yeah.
the first.
No.
Yeah, I don't do that just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
I do it too because people need help.
Exactly.
But I'm also going to be more fussy on the people that I'm going to be helping, because what if they screw up and my name's attached to it? I have to carry my practice insurance, so they should hopefully be eligible for malpractice insurance. And malpractice isn't horrible for a hypnotist. It's not. I can't remember what it was, but it was not that much. It's like $200, I think. But that's something important. So
Yeah.
I had one person that tried to contact me. The guy was a nurse. This poor guy ended up. He also had the misfortune of kind of like asking me repeatedly. I said, "I'll get back to your. I'm in the process of redoing my application. I'll get back to you
Yeah.
in a few weeks." Contacted me back in like 48 hours. Like, eventually, I did send him the application after I did it, but this poor application was now like essays were involved, and he did. Bless him, he did do it, but the answers were. I referred him to another place.
Right. Yeah. So since you've been doing it so long, you know what's best for
And
people.
I know what else, like that person, he wouldn't necessarily do best with my certification program anyway, that I work with, because I can help certify through like one organization. I don't do my own certifications. Just no. That's opening up a whole new can of worms. I don't want to go.
Yeah.
But I referred to him to two other places that might be better suitable for his future career. I don't know if he went to either one of them, but
Yeah.
and I warned him. I said, you might need to do one of those two. That's one of the better places. See if you can get continuing education hours for it.
Awesome. So you were able to help him out in some capacity.
I tried. And certainly he didn't like say thank you or anything. So it's like, all right. I didn't have to sit there and go through like 4 hours of material, reading, doing all the stuff for him, which I did for free.
Yeah.
I assume that he may have done something, but I don't know. At least this guy that was from Sunday, or that got put up on the blog post on Sunday, he said thank you.
Awesome. Hey, that's the least you can do, right?
It really is.
Yeah.
So.
So to end our conversation, let's just say, let me ask the last question. What would you tell someone who is considering hypnotherapy?
Why? First, I would say, why do you want hypnotherapy? For what issue?
Yeah.
Do you have a medical problem? Then I would say go talk to your doctor. Is it a psych problem? Do you have a psychologist? Might want to do that. or are you doing it just because you're curious, which people do.
Mm-hmm.
I get hit up a lot for erotic hypnosis, and I'm like, I'm not 100% sure what to make of this, but I don't even have anybody I can refer that out to. I was like, that's not really my thing. So thank you. If I find anybody who meets that criteria, I'll find them a different place. But that's another question. So ask yourself, why do you want hypnotherapy? Have you tried the other options? Have they worked? Have they not worked? Why do you want to try that one? Has it worked? Has it worked for you in the past? And that's the reason. Oh, great. What do you know about hypnosis? Do you think that this is all going to be, cough from the Jungle Book? I mean, if you'd like me to sing Trust in Me, that's cool, but my eyes are not going to spin. But some people are interested in doing that just because, oh, well, the Jungle Book. Okay. Well, there's not a lot of movies that represent hypnotherapy particularly well. So,
right.
This is not, this is not, a stage show. This is not anything else. This is definitely not Get Out, which I still have to see someday.
I think I'll pass on that one.
I was told by a friend of mine, she's like, I've been told by several friends of mine, do not watch that movie. All the hypnotherapists are like, God, I cannot believe they just did that. And some of my other friends who aren't hypnotherapists, who may have seen parts of it, they're like, don't go to see that movie. You're going to regret it.
And if someone's considering hypnotherapy, probably shouldn't watch it either, huh?
Probably a bad idea.
Okay.
I had a situation where I was at a networking event.
I think so, yeah.
And it was next to this, African-American, team. And I was at this networking event, and they went around and said, well, what does everybody do? And I said, I'm a hypnotherapist. They get up and left the room. I was like, what?
Oh my.
I'm like, guys, that's like a movie, right? I have no interest in doing anything for you, especially not, no. And I'm not doing anything in a public space anyway. I have no interest in dealing with you unless you're basically a client, because there are other issues.
Mm-hmm.
If you really want me to do things for free, you better be something very unusual.
Yeah.
So I don't just go around and hypnotize people just for fun.
Oh, that's just the movies.
It is just a movie, and apparently it has dropped a whole lot of hypnotherapists' business.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, I'm like, this is not helping us. We're on a fringe anyway. Let's make this worse. Thanks, guys.
Well, I'm glad to hear all the great things that you're doing.
Well, I'm happy to do the things. I like helping people, and this is kind of an unusual way of doing it, but it works well for me. I'd rather talk to the people.
Hey, we all have our own talents and skills, and you were cut out for hypnotherapy.
Apparently, I had the first time I ever did. I was not a hypnotherapist before I went to one. And the irony here is that hypnotherapy had been suggested to me several times. And I kept saying no. I basically ended up hitting rock bottom. But I said, maybe this other therapist was correct. That guy happened to have been a hypnotist, but I never let him do anything. Ended up getting into another therapist. I said, well, maybe I'm scared. Maybe I'm just scared of things. Took a little class that was like, it was on Groupon or something. Just, like, as I mentioned, I'm a Groupon and Udemy junkie. But I took the class just to see what it was about, just because I was like, I'm desperate enough, I'm going to find my own.
Yeah.
But I want to see what this is like before. And then, so I had that knowledge, and then I was like, yeah, I think I should definitely go see my own, because this probably works. And crap, I'm so susceptible. Kept falling on the floor during the things. I was like, man, what's going on? This can't possibly be this boring. No, it took me four or five times to get through the history lesson. because it was a stacked induction, so I had no chance. And I was going into trance and converting to sleep because so deeply I didn't even hear the emergence command, and I had no idea everybody else was doing it too. So yeah, went to a hypnotherapist, and it ended up being that I didn't have to go through a pre-talk because I already got the pre-talk through the class.
Right.
And he was, and I said, yeah, I'm also going to be taking another class because I'm just so curious. And he's like, well, this is the fastest pre-talk that poor man probably ever did. And like a few months later, he's like, you are far, far too good at this. And he's like, you're probably going to end up doing this. I'm not going to end up being absurd. That's an absurd suggestion. And then Mr. CBT actually told my husband that he was going to be paying for my hypnotherapy training. And I looked at him, I was like, are you kidding? Have you been talking to Paul, the hypnotist? It was really, really weird because he didn't tell me before that.
It was kind of like it was in the stars for you then.
Must have been. I don't know. And apparently I'd been doing some of these inductions, like the favorite induction. Apparently I learned that from a book and didn't know it was hypnosis.
Huh.
So I was like, oh, that's helpful. That's weird. Then I got trained correctly. And I was like, oh, well, no, this really is as easy as I thought.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy you found your calling. I know for a lot of people my age, we're kind of sorting through, like, what are we going to do with the rest of our lives? So.
Well, so basically you're telling me I had to, I got this in 2016. I'm 37 years old.
Okay. So it might take a little bit for us, but we'll get there.
Yeah, but now I'm trying to do the clinical psychology thing so I can have a license to continue doing this and do even more stuff and not require the referral.
That's exciting.
I think so.
That's really exciting. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you. I'm just kind of happy that I found a job that's kind of weird, and certainly a lot of people are, if they say, oh, if you say I'm a hypnotist, they look at you like, what? Say that again.
Yeah.
And then I finally have to say, you are getting sleepy. Oh, what? You really exist?
You're not just on the movies? Back to the movies again.
Yeah. Like, yes, but I don't usually say you're getting sleepy and wave a pocket watch in front of you. But yeah.
Especially a Star Trek one.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I've got one. It's a little, United Federation of Planets. It's great.
Cute. I love it. All right. Well, we've almost reached our time. So is there anything that you would like to say to sign off? Because I'm going to let you take the sign off.
Okay.
You're very special because I never let anyone do it.
Oh, see, I don't have anything prepared. I wasn't expecting to sign off. I've done dozens and dozens of podcasts. I don't think I've ever been the sign-off person. But if anybody would like to, learn more about hypnotherapy or whatever, I'm very easy to find pretty much everywhere, either by my name, which is Melvin Marsh. You can use my initials. That'll make it even easier. And use my middle initial, which is S. So you could also try doing Mel S. Marsh. Or you could just search for After Hours Hypnotherapy. I am ridiculously easy to get a hold of. Somebody, somehow, I'm easy to get a hold of.
Yeah, you're very quick with the emails.
I try to be. I'm not always. If there's a client that's like right there, obviously I'm not going to be responding right then.
Right.
But as soon as they leave or I sign off from them, oh, crap, I've got more emails.
Yeah. All right. Well, please get a hold of Melvin if you ever need a hypnotherapist. And I'm so happy to have you. Thank you so much.
I'm so happy to have been here for you. This was quite fun. You need to have me back again.
Of course. Yeah.
Maybe after I get that degree.
Yeah, that'd be
even better.
That would be very interesting. Yeah, we'll keep in touch for sure.
I'm very easy to find. Like I said, I'm easy to find. And you liked my Facebook, I think.
I think I did. Yeah.
I like tag notification.
I am following your blog, so
I'm easy to find. You can't get rid of me, or I can't get rid of you. It's one of those two things. I'm not sure which one.
Well, You hit me up on Simbi first, though.
You actually popped up a request, and I was like, I'm just intrigued. So, so have you talked about Symbi on previous things before?
No, I haven't. Well, there's one other person who I had on who I met through Simbi. So.
Well, you're not on Symbi anymore anyway, so it doesn't matter.
No. But try it out if you want to, people. It's really fun.
It can be.
Yeah.
Actually, that's how I got a fair amount of my certification hours since I couldn't charge at the time.
Oh yeah. I had a lot of people, you can do requests on there for like basically anything. So I had, yeah, when I didn't have a therapist or anything, I was asking for help with depression counseling. And a lot of people just said, hey, I'll do it for you for free.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my gosh.
There used to be some clinical psychiatrists on there too.
Yeah.
Actual degreed ones.
There's a whole
Crazy.
community of people who can do basically anything out there on Simbi. So, yeah. And it brought us together.
Exactly. So. And that's always a good thing.
All right. Well, I'll let you hit the stop button and then we'll talk a little bit. And
all right. Hold on here. Let's see here. Let's
Monday.